Hello everyone and welcome back to the Trans Am Championship for the fourth round. Today we head to Bathurst for this one. It's a 1 hour race. I've already messed up because I started qualifying on the hard compound tyres, so we'll switch those around and we will get cracking. But unfortunately, as you can see, a very small turnout for this round. Only 6 of us decided to show up for this one. A lot of people were busy, so that's unfortunate. It's going to be a bit of a quiet one, which is why this is the shortest Trans Am video ever, I think. But anyway, yeah, we'll see how things go. On the plus side, it will give you know, all of us who did turn up a guaranteed decent haul of points. So yeah, that is the plus side. But anyway, on the outlap I stuck it into the wall over the top of the mountain, and the easiest way to reset is just leave the track, go back to pits, and then come out again. We've got plenty of time to still get a lap or two in, so yeah, we'll be fine, and we'll manage to still complete a flying lap. So we move on then. We'll get our flying lap underway. Some of the hardest corners to get right are the first and last corners. Despite being simple on paper, there's a lot of time to be gained, especially at the first corner, because it leads onto the massive mountain straight, so you really don't want to be making a mistake there into Griffin's Bend trying to control the car under brakes. It's not this car's strong suit with this setup. It does sway around a little bit, so there's something to watch out for, especially across the top of the mountain, where we do need to tap the brakes in a couple of places. Just need to watch the weight shift of the car, which is a little bit what caught me out on the previous attempt. But anyway, as we continue to head over the top of the mountain, giving the walls a fair bit of respect. I just want to get a clean lap in more than anything else, and yeah, make sure I actually get a time on the board, and that will at least put me on the second row of the grid, given that Jokin and Ferbs are here, and they of course will not be doing qualifying as always. But anyway, as we wind our way down the mountain now towards Forest Elbow, and we'll try and get a decent exit here, nice and close to the inside wall, run it out to the outside wall, try not to hit either of them because it's very easy to do. And now onto the very long Conrod straight, and yeah, we'll just wait for the chase, which can be quite tricky in these cars again, with the way the weight shifts around at high speed. We'll tip it into the chase up over the inside curb a little bit there, and get it stopped. Probably a little bit early on the brakes, but it's far better than being a bit late at that part of the circuit. And then now up towards Murray's Corner, we'll see what our lap time is as we head into Murray's Corner, and out to the other side. We are coming up to the line now, and it is going to be a 2 minutes 14, so nothing special there, but it will be fourth on the grid. Jester looks to be taking pole position. Jester and Ash not finished their final laps yet. There's Ash, lap complete though, and not able to topple Jester's time, with Sparrow in third. And then of course we have Ferbs and Jokin on the back row of the grid. But anyway, I'm going to be starting this one on the hard compound tyres, get them out of the way. It's a 1 hour race this time, and without further ado, I think it's time we get into it. All 3 tyre compounds required. There are the final results from qualifying. Oh, and I almost forgot, here are the championship standings heading into this round. Ash leads by a significant margin ahead of Sparrow. Heafy's not here, and there's myself, Ferbs, Tita's not here, and then Jester, Banana, who's not here, and Jokin rounding out those who have turned up for this round. There's a lot to be gained for those who have turned up to this round. A low field number means a lot of points for everyone. So without further ado, let's get into it. It is Jester and Ash on the front row, both of them on the medium compound tyres. On the second row, it is Sparrow on the inside on the mediums, myself on the outside on the hards. And then on the third row, it is Ferbs and Joken, both of them on the hard compound tyres. Joken switching to the GT40 for this round. Mount Panorama is one of the toughest circuits in the world. The close proximity of the barriers over the top of the mountain will punish any and all mistakes. The high-speed chase is never going to be easy in low downforce cars, and we have to survive for 1 full hour. Let's do this. We're underway for the 4th round of the Trans Am Championship, and it's a great start from Sparrow and Ash. Terrible start from Jester. Sparrow had to thread the needle there, but got away with it as we round the first corner and left a little bit of space on the inside. Wasn't sure if anyone was there. Turns out we were all in the clear because Jester is a long way back, last place and then some. So from pole position, it has not been a good start from Jester, as Ash and Sparrow lead the way in the 2 Camaros, and the 2 of them on the medium compound tyres. Jester now has to navigate the hard tyre runners towards the back of the field, myself, Joken and Ferbs, as we all head through. And looks like Jester's going for the move on Joken into the cutting. Nicely done there. Joken doesn't put up too much of a fight in that situation, and now Jester has the run on Ferbs towards Reed Park under the tree, and Jester gets the move done there as well. So making quick work of the hard tyre runners so far. Just myself left in front of Jester at the moment as we find the barrier there, just lightly though, no damage for us there, so we're very lucky to get away with that. And we have a bit of a margin to Jester at the moment as we head down into the S's. But this is where the medium tyres could really shine, as we went a little bit deep across the top there into the S's, and that's allowed Jester to close in as we continue to weave left and right through this continuous series of corners. And now into Forest Elbow. Jester goes for the late move down the inside, slight bit of contact, but a nice overtake nonetheless, and I certainly did not see that coming. But Jester, aggressive move, gets it done cleanly, and moves up into 3rd position, finally clears all of the hard tyre runners, and now charges towards the chase as we look further ahead to Ash and Sparrow leading the charge on the medium compound tyres, and it looks like they're not going to be coming into the pits. So interesting strategic choice from the 2 of them, and yeah, that's going to be interesting. Maybe they can make one less pit stop with that strategy. Everyone else, even Jester on the mediums, coming into the pits. Of course, it's only realistic to do 1 lap on the hards because they are so slow, but Sparrow and Ash doing multiple laps on the mediums. On board with Ferbs into the chase. Looking at a replay here, a little bit close to the back of myself there as we were slower across the apex there. But no contact, no damage, so we carry on. Everyone into the pits, Jester onto the hards, the rest of us onto the medium compound, and we carry on. Looks like Jester's emerged in 3rd position where he went in. Joken's gained though from 6th up to 4th. We've dropped into 5th, and Ferbs runs in last position at the moment as we continue on into the cutting. Looking at Ferbs here on the exit, a little bit sideways and almost into the barrier. That is as close as you get to binning it without actually binning it, as we take a look at Joken across the top of the mountain, putting the pressure on Jester, who's on the hard tyres, remember. So Joken has the better tyres on the car at the moment, and we'll be looking to make an overtake. Nothing to do into the chase, but Joken is looking racy at the moment, and is right under the rear wing of the other GT40 and looking high and low for a way past, but no opportunity at the moment as they head into Forest's Elbow. Nothing to do there, and Joken just has to wait behind and maintain 4th position for the time being. This is all good for Jester, and you know, sort of equalising the strategy after that bad start. The longer he can hold off Joken, on the faster tyres, the better it will be. Penalty for myself for pit entry. I really struggled with the pit entry here as Ferbs goes through. We drop into last position with that penalty, unfortunately. But anyway, looking further ahead, Jester into the pits. Dives into pit lane quite late compared to the rest of us. Not really an issue, just something I noticed. But I decided, seeing as we've dropped to the back, I might as well try and do something different and, you know, mirror the Sparrow and Ash strategy. Try and go longer on the mediums, do one less pit stop if we can, and yeah, we'll see how it goes. But yeah, if we can stretch this stint long enough, we can get to the end on one more stop, whilst everyone else who has just pit now will still need to make that, you know, one stop onto another set of softs, or they can pit without changing tyres to save a few seconds in the pit lane, but they'll need fuel to get to the end. So yeah, that is my strategy for the moment. Not 100% confident because these medium tyres are not feeling great. There's another bit of contact with the wall, and this time we did pick up a little bit of damage. The damage isn't too bad though. It's not worth coming into the pits just to fix that. So we'll carry on for the time being and just see what the pace is like. But yeah, the medium tyres not feeling particularly great to me as Jokin spins it across the top of Skyline into the S's. Jester and Ferbs go through. Jokin flicks it around, and there's a little mishap there after you know, all that good strategy work to get up into third position. Hasn't paid off for Jokin in the end, and has dropped down those a couple of spots once again. And that is Sparrow doing a little bit of lawn mowing at the top of the mountain and getting a wriggle on through the S's. On board with myself now as we come across the top of Skyline into McPhillamy, a little bit wide there, and we drop it off into the grass briefly. We go on board now with Jokin as he clips the inside barrier. No harm done, but you know, there's a lot of little mistakes just creeping in here and there. Nothing major, but you know, that's what's sort of happening at this phase of the race. Everything's just sort of simmering along at the moment, waiting for something more exciting to happen. But anyway, into the pit lane we come then. Tried to be careful this time, but took a bit too much curb on the inside and it launched the car wide, and I think we may have just cut the next corner by a little bit too much. But we'll see how it goes as we get a set of soft compound tyres on. I didn't stretch this stint long enough. Everyone else was starting to catch up, so rather than dealing with having other cars around, I decided to just pull into the pits, get the softs on, and we can just run our own race. We'll have to pit again, but we were not getting anywhere with our strategy regardless. So potentially just cost myself some time there in trying to run the medium tyres for an extra few laps, but that's how it is. Jokin going agricultural across the top of the mountain again as he works his way down and picks up a penalty that time around, so that's unfortunate for Jokin. We see Jester over the top now, getting almightily close to the barriers, so it is time to push on here at Bathurst as everyone is starting to find the limits across the top of the mountain. Jokin, how close is he going to get? Very close is the answer, but a light graze with the barrier there is, you know, you can get away with it. Don't try it in real life, but in terms of Gran Turismo, it won't damage the car. Big slide there on the way in for myself, so we're all pushing on in various ways as Ferbs, a big wobble there into the barrier on the exit of the chase under the Armour All sign, and that is a big moment for Ferbs. Going to cost quite a bit of time as Ferbs gets everything pointed in the right direction again. Jokin goes through, Ferbs drops down into P5, probably has some damage from that as well, as we have a look on the replay on board. almost caught it about 5 times and eventually found the barrier. The contact wasn't actually that bad with the barrier, so perhaps if there is damage it won't be too bad. But yeah, that was a big one for Ferbs and cost a fair bit of time. Back to Jester as we watch across the top of Skyline. A little bit more lawn mowing there, but no harm done. Down through the S's and a penalty for the corner cut there. So yeah, there's a little bit to watch out for across the top as right here, this was the weird moment of the race. My controller went flat and I spent a little bit of time frantically looking for the cord and trying to plug it in. So that cost me a little bit of time. Not that it's going to have any major effect on the race, but yeah, I clearly did not charge the controller before starting this one. Usually that is something I try to remember to do, or just to race with the controller plugged in, but yeah, forgot about it this time, and my controller went flat right at that moment. So yeah, that was a little bit of a moment for us. Thankfully the auto drive takes over, but anyways, we continue on. Little graze with the barrier there, no harm done though, but again, there's just no margin for error here, and you know, if we hit the wall with any kind of significant force, we will damage the car once more. But I've been pretty happy with this stint so far, as Sparrow heads into the pits, and we'll equip the soft compound tyres in the stop there for the next stint. So Sparrow saving the hards for the end of the race. Blue flag time now as we head up Mountain Straight, and I'm just letting Ash go here because it's far easier to do it here than anywhere across the top of the mountain, where it's basically single file from well, here up to Forest Elbow. So as we continue to head through across Skyline, yeah, a bit more lawn mowing. There's not going to be much grass left up at the top of Skyline there, and down through the S's it has been well used. But anyway, looking forward to Ash, a current race leader but yet to stop, amends that now and heads into pit lane, takes that Camaro off to the left before the final corner, brings it in, and it will be the hard compound tyres going on for Ash. So split strategies between the Camaro drivers. Sparrow saving the hards for the end, Ash getting them out of the way now. So it'll be interesting to see how it plays out, and we won't really know where everyone stands until Sparrow makes his final stop. But Jester comes into the pits, and this will be for the final soft tyre stop. New tyres are going on for Jester, and of course a load of fuel to get to the end of the race. We look to Ash, who is making his way down the mountain, and a little bit of a wobble here and there. That could be a slight amount of lag, but also just the nature of the hard compound tyres not providing a terrible amount of grip. So yeah, it's a struggle when you're on that compound. But anyway, Ash now brings it into pit lane, and we'll get rid of those promptly after just one lap, as has everyone else so far. But anyway, soft tyres go on for Ash, and those will carry that Camaro to the end of the race. But into the pits now also comes Ferbs, and it will be another set of the soft compound tyres going on for Ferbs, and I will soon follow suit, heading into pit lane, and for the final time we will actually get this pit entry right. We won't cut any corners, and we'll manage to navigate our way in properly. So took a few goes to get it right, but it is a pretty tricky pit entry when you see the professional drivers in real life getting it wrong from time to time. It is to be expected. But anyway, we fill it up with fuel, or we don't fill it up, but we give ourselves enough to get to the end. And now we will push on and see what we can do in the rest of this race. But things have been pretty lonely for us so far, as we've got Sparrow coming up behind us once again. Just going to roll out of it here rather than trying to deal with blue flags across the top of the mountain. Sparrow goes through, and we can push on for the rest of the race. Sparrow currently second in the race. Jokin is in the race lead, but both of them still need to make another stop. Jokin needs a significant amount of fuel, and Sparrow still needs to use the hard compound tyres. Incidentally, Jokin into the pit lane now and not taking new tyres. Obviously, Jokin thinks the soft tyres on the car are decent enough and will just be filling up on fuel to save a few seconds in the pit lane. A little bit of a shortcut across the top of the mountain there, and that has given us a penalty of 1 second as we're being blue flagged as well. We've got Ash coming up behind, so I think the penalty will basically sort that out as we head along Conrod Straight once again up to the penalty line here, and this will slow us down for a moment, and Ash will be coming through very shortly. There he is, and yeah, we drop off the lead lap to who is the effective leader, if that makes sense. But anyway, we look to Jokin, and down through the S's, Jokin goes and picks up a track limits penalty through the S's, which is very difficult to do because there's not really a lot of extra room you can use. So Jokin picking up the penalty there, and we'll be serving that one down on Conrod Straight. Up over the top of the mountain, we look to Jester, who's giving those barriers a little bit of attention, and flying over the top of the mountain with great speed at the moment. Down to Sparrow at the chase, and as I mentioned, Sparrow still needs to fit the hard compound tyres, but leads the way at the moment under the Armoural sign as the sun is starting to set here at Bathurst, and we will be racing into the night. You can get a bit of a gauge of the gap back to Sparrow, or back to Ash rather, who sits in second position. Sparrow in the lead, and back to myself. We are out of sync, but behind Ash on the road, but a lap down overall. Then we look back to Jester into the final corner, and then a bit further back we have Jokin just heading into the chase now. So Jokin and Ferbs have sort of dropped off the back. We've seen a few mistakes from those two. The spin at the top of the mountain for Jokin, the spin at this very part of the circuit for Ferbs, and yeah, they've dropped away from the top three. But Jokin holding down fourth place at the moment as Ferbs brings it through the chase, and under the Armoural sign, and it's P5 for Ferbs at the moment as we are nearing the end stages of the race. We are currently 20 laps in, 21 laps for everyone else, and we've only got 12 minutes to go as we're being blue flagged once again. So across the top of the mountain, it's a tricky place to get blue flagged. A big slide into the barrier, and that has not helped us in any way, shape or form. We're still getting blue flagged. We've got Jester behind us at the moment, so I decided we'll just head straight through this chicane, slow it down, and we'll let Jester through, as Jester goes straight through as well. And I think the track grip is really dropping at this phase of the race, of course, as night falls, and yeah, that has caused a couple of little incidents in a row there. Jester running straight through the chicane, and myself finding the barrier up at Solomon Park. So yeah, it's made things a little bit trickier, and now we will need to contend with a little bit of damage for the rest of the race. Jester carrying a penalty for driving very rapidly through the little runoff up at Skyline, and we'll be serving that along Conrod Straight. and that will give us the chance to actually come back through potentially as we are approaching. We'll get past Jester, and we will move ourselves ahead once again. Not for position, not that it matters, because one corner later we are off the road into the grass, and Jester will get back through. So awkward little exchange there for about half a lap or so, but we've sorted ourselves out now, and we'll continue to carry on into the final corner, and to start yet another lap in this race. We go on board with myself for that little moment we just saw from the replay cameras. There's Jester off to the side, and yeah, just got in way too deep here and couldn't pull it up, and I just decided to barrel across the grass rather than struggling to keep it on track while I knew Jester was right behind. And yeah, we'll now just carry on, no harm done, and we will push on further into this race. But as we carry on, a bit wayward into the chase there, we just about managed to contain it and keep it on the road. But with the damage and the colder conditions at night, it is making this car a little bit more of a handful, and you can sort of see that coming up from time to time as we look on the off-board at the backfire there. But anyway, Ash making some sparks up at Reed Park, and some backfires there as well. So getting a bit of a light show here late in the race as we continue to watch on. A penalty there for Sparrow across the top of the mountain, and that's not what you want, because Sparrow, remember, still needs to use those hards, and needs to be making use of the soft compound tyres right now and getting the most out of them, as Joken moves aside for Ferbs as the gap between them has been closing. And oh, that's a big off down at the chase for Ferbs, spinning around like a lighthouse, and we'll get things pointing in the right direction again. But that was a big one down at the chase, and has lost significant ground out of that as Joken went back through. Is the onboard replay, clips the inside curb and just spits the car off into the sand, and yeah, that was a big one. Here's the onboard with Joken, and just easily rolls on through as Ferbs is trying to get out of the sand trap, but that went off in a big way. And so oh, off into the fence there for Ferbs, and that is immediately after the incident in the sand trap. So that's an awkward one there for Ferbs. So anyway, we now focus back to the front of the field. Sparrow comes into the pits for the final time, and for the final pit stop of the race, the hard compound tyres go on, as well as a little bit of fuel, it seems, just to complete the last couple of laps in this race. But Ash is out in the lead, and Jester will move through to take second position ahead of Sparrow, who's now just coming out of pit lane and on the hard compound tyres. As fast as Sparrow's been in that Camaro, I don't think it'll be enough to have any chance of reclaiming second position as things stand. Anyway, we go back to Joken and Ferbs, who run P4 and 5 still in this race, and they are currently heading along Conrod Straight late at night here with the headlights ablaze. Ferbs closing in to Joken once more as time is quickly running out in this race for these last couple of positions to be decided, as Joken leaves it high and wide for Ferbs to get through. Ferbs up into 4th position, and Joken will drop into P5. Flashy on the exit of the chase under the Armour All sign, and now into the final corner for Ferbs in 4th place at Flashy again. Oh, sliding sideways there, and more flashing of the headlights as they run side by side to the line. Not the end of the race, but they're doing a formation finish anyway. as we cut back to myself, a little bit out of shape over the top of the mountain there, and we find the barrier, unfortunately. So yeah, a couple of incidents for myself late in this one, but nonetheless we'll carry on. Don't think we did any more significant damage with that moment, so I think we just about got away with it. So a bit of a scrappy end to the race, but overall pretty happy with my driving throughout this one. The middle stint, the first soft tyre stint, I feel was pretty good. Obviously I had that bit of damage in the same, well, not the same spot, at the top of the mountain rather, on the medium tyres, where I've hit the barrier a few times throughout this race. But yeah, that, and obviously the damage in this stint, but the middle stint was good. I was quite happy with that one. But anyway, back to Joken and Ferbs. These two running close together through Griffin's Bend. Joken just in front of the moment, and Ferbs flicks it into the barrier on the exit. And that's a big moment there. But we'll get moving once again into the chase. Joken flicks it around, and Ferbs joins in, building sandcastles out in the gravel trap at the chase. So these two are taking this race very seriously, as you can tell, and meanwhile I'm still up at the top of the mountain, so there's no risk of losing positions other than to each other, as Ash brings it around to start the final lap of the race with only short amount of time left in this race, as we look to Jester, who runs in second position. In fact, there's only a matter of seconds left until the timer hits 0, and Jester just rolling out of it in the final few hundred meters, and will cross the line after the 1 hour mark to avoid doing an extra lap. And Sparrow rolling it to the line as well. It'll be P2 for Jester, P3 for Sparrow. Back on board with myself, as Joken and Ferbs were doing burnouts at the final corner, and they are still there as we head down the hill for the final time. We've got ourselves a penalty, unfortunately, but anyway, we'll get rid of that on Conrod Straight. But you can see in the map in the top right, Joken and Ferbs are still hanging out off circuit there, so yeah, they are potentially, if they're not careful, might lose the position here, but we'll see if they get a move on before I can get there. But we'll see what happens as we come through the chase for the final time. Another penalty, but it's not going to make the difference at the end of the day, I don't think, as we come to the final corner now. Almost got caught up on the grass there on the exit, and Joken and Ferbs have left the final corner and have taken to the straight, but they've pulled over, and that's going to give us P4 of the line. And Joken and Ferbs are going to take P5 and P6, but in what order? It is going to be an almighty race to the finish line between these two, as Joken's dropped into P6 at the moment, Ferbs into 5th position, but they are struggling to get to the finish line as Ferbs drops it off the bottom of the screen. Joken spins, and that's going to cost some valuable time as he's struggling to get to the finish line. And where is Ferbs in all this? He's going backwards. He's back on the screen again. I think the finish line is just off the bottom of the screen, by the way. Here comes Joken, and finally they cross the line. Ferbs just ahead of Joken, and let's not forget about this guy, because Ash with the front brake disc glowing like lava there into the chase will bring it around the final corner now, and he has shown the Aussies how it's done here at Bathurst, and will take a massive win here, not just for the race but for the championship as well, because with 34 points Ash has done enough to win the Trans Am Championship. He has had a mega season, and throughout the last 3 rounds has amassed 99 points, and with only 1 round to go, no one else can achieve that number. And so we'll take a look at the championship standings then to see where everyone else is. Couldn't quite believe this after doing the maths, but currently it's myself in second position on 83 points. Just 3 points back in third is Sparrow, and then a further 5 back is Jester. Then it's Heafy on 71 points, Jokin and Ferbs both on 68. So across the top 7, or from second down to 7th rather, it's only 15 points, so it's all to play for between a lot of us. You'll also notice I've added some additional colour to the championship standings, just to make it easier to tell which scores, which results have been dropped, and which races people did not turn up to. I've sort of grayed those ones out, so hopefully that makes things a little easier to understand as we head into the final round. But anyway, I think that is going to do it for this one. Actually, not to be missed is John Teeter, who sits on 60 points at the moment, but has only done 2 races so far, so heading into the final round will not need to drop any previous results and can score big in the final round and potentially jump well up the order, potentially up into second place. But we'll see how it goes if Teeter indeed shows up. But that is all for this one, so I will say thank you so much for watching all the way to the end. I really do appreciate it. Feel free to give some feedback in the comments, it's always very helpful. And other than that, I'll see you in the next one, and goodbye.